the woman you choose will decide your fate. Carl Jung understood this with surgical clarity, not as romance but as a psychological law. Most men believe they are free in love. They think they picked her because she was beautiful, kind, or shared their values. But Jung would smirk at that illusion. He knew the truth. You are not choosing her, your unconscious is. And if you haven't mastered it, it will choose your downfall with the same eagerness it could choose your rise. History is littered with men who had everything, wealth, vision, power, yet were undone by a single choice of partner. The wrong woman doesn't just hurt your heart. She dismantles your identity, distorts your purpose, and buries your potential under years of chaos you could have avoided. Jung saw relationships as psychological contracts. Not just two people sharing emotions, but two psyches binding together. Your conscious self, signing a lifetime agreement with your hidden drives. This is why attraction can feel like destiny, yet carry the seeds of disaster. You are pulled in not by logic, but by the magnetic force of your deepest wounds. And here's the danger. If you don't understand the forces behind your attraction, your choice won't be yours at all. You'll think you're chasing love, when in truth, you're obeying a shadow you've never faced. If you think choosing a woman is just about looks or chemistry, keep watching, because what I'm about to reveal could save you decades of regret. And if you want the rest of Jung's lessons, the ones that make you immune to emotional traps, subscribe now, because after this, you'll never see love the same way again. Let's get started. You don't choose her, your unconscious does. Carl Jung's most unsettling revelation about attraction is this. You don't consciously choose the woman you desire, your unconscious does. At the center of this truth is the concept of the anima, the inner feminine image every man carries. This anima is not some abstract poetic idea. It's the psychological blueprint that determines who feels right to you. The origins of your anima are buried deep in your early experiences. The women you were first emotionally exposed to. Your mother, sisters, first crushes, even female authority figures, all leave imprints. If those early relationships carried warmth, trust, and stability, your anima will seek the same. But if they were chaotic, cold, or inconsistent, your unconscious will still be magnetically drawn to that chaos, because it feels familiar. This is why love at first sight often isn't destiny at all. It's recognition. Not recognition of who she is now, but of something in her that mirrors what you've already known. Your pulse quickens not because the universe has aligned, but because your unconscious whispers, "I know her," even if that familiarity is rooted in past pain. Here lies the danger. If your anima is undeveloped, it will pull you toward women who match your wounds, not your potential. And because the unconscious is powerful, you'll rationalize these choices as chemistry or fate. In reality, it's an old psychological script running without your consent. Jung's warning is clear. Unless you bring the unconscious into the light, you will spend your life calling dysfunction love. The man who hasn't confronted his anima will always be vulnerable to manipulation, always chasing a ghost and always mistaking emotional turbulence for passion. Before you think about choosing a woman, you must first make sure it's you doing the choosing, not the shadows of your past. Most men believe they choose the woman they want, but Carl Jung warns us, often it's not conscious choice, it's the shadow within that decides. The shadow is the dark, hidden part of ourselves we refuse to face, suppressed desires, fears, and unresolved wounds lurking beneath our awareness. Jung called this the shadow self, and it plays a powerful role in attraction. Why does this matter? Because men unconsciously seek out women who reflect their own darkness, not to heal it, but to reenact old dramas. This is the root of toxic attraction. The woman who triggers your deepest fears or reignites past pain can seem magnetic, precisely because she mirrors what you haven't integrated within yourself. Think of the man who falls for a woman with chaos in her life, because unconsciously he craves that chaos to justify his own inner turmoil. Or the one who tries to fix broken women, caught in the savior complex, hoping to patch the parts of himself he refuses to face. The shadow draws men into repeating painful patterns, confusing fate with free will, tragedy with destiny. Jung's stern warning is clear. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This means the only way to break free from this cycle is deep self-work, to confront and integrate your shadow. Only then can a man choose consciously, rather than being led by unseen forces within. Without this awareness, you remain trapped, dancing to the tune of your hidden wounds, forever pulled toward women who replicate emotional chaos instead of stability. The shadow trap keeps men from true freedom, from power, because real power begins when you understand what drives you beneath the surface. The 3 archetypes of women you must recognize. Number 1, the muse, the catalyst of inspiration and danger. The muse represents the woman who ignites your creativity and ambition. She challenges your limits and fuels your dreams, pushing you toward growth and new heights. In Jungian terms, the muse symbolizes the part of the anima that inspires transformation and exploration. However, the muse is a double-edged sword. While she can elevate your spirit and ignite your purpose, she can also seduce you away from discipline and focus. The danger lies in losing yourself in the chase, becoming enamored with the idea of growth, but neglecting the hard work it demands. The muse can become a distraction, luring you into perpetual excitement without the follow-through necessary for real achievement. Identifying the muse early means recognizing when inspiration turns into avoidance. If she always promises change but never demands consistency, you're likely caught in a cycle of endless beginnings without completion. To align with the muse healthily, embrace the spark she brings, but ground it in actionable discipline. Let her push you forward, not pull you away from your mission. Number 2, the mother, the provider of stability and its suffocation. The mother archetype nurtures, protects, and offers a foundation of security. She supports your well-being and helps build a stable life. In relationships, this woman offers comfort and care, soothing the inner child within a man's psyche. Yet, as nurturing as she is, the mother can smother ambition. Too much comfort can breed complacency. The subtle trap is in becoming dependent on her stability, trading risk and growth for safety and predictability. When ambition falters, it's often because the mother's influence makes the familiar feel too comfortable to leave. Recognizing the mother means discerning between genuine support and a cage disguised as care. Is your growth truly supported, or are you settling for comfort? To choose well, balance stability with the fire of challenge. A woman who nurtures should also respect your drive, not extinguish it. Number 3, the temptress, the awakener of passion and destroyer of focus. The temptress awakens raw desire and passion. She embodies temptation, risk, and the thrill of the unknown. Jung saw this archetype as both alluring and dangerous, a force that can shatter routines and ignite obsession. Passion is vital for life, but with the temptress it often comes at a cost. Her power lies in seducing you away from your goals, consuming your focus with emotional intensity. The danger is in losing yourself to fleeting pleasures and destructive patterns that derail your purpose. Identifying the temptress early involves watching for the seductive pull of drama, impulsivity, and emotional chaos. Does your attraction bring clarity or confusion? Does it build or burn down? Aligning with the temptress demands discipline. Embrace passion, but master it. Channel desire toward your vision instead of letting it become a prison. How to identify each archetype early and align your choice. Jung's teachings urge men to move beyond surface attraction and understand the psychological roles women play in their lives. Early recognition means observing how a woman affects your drive, discipline, and emotional state. Ask yourself, does she inspire progress or distract from it? Does she provide support or foster dependency? Mother. Does she awaken passion or chaos? Temptress. Your choice must align with your life's direction. If you're building an empire, a muse who distracts or a mother who suffocates will not serve you. If you seek transformation, the temptress's fire can be both fuel and hazard. Choosing wisely means choosing a partner who complements and enhances your purpose, not one who fills emotional voids or perpetuates unconscious patterns. How to integrate your anima, the Jungian path to clarity. Before a man can make a truly conscious choice about the woman he wants, he must first integrate his anima, the inner feminine image residing in his unconscious. This is not a casual self-help suggestion. It is a deep psychological process Jung considered essential for any man seeking clarity in love and life. Integration begins with self-work, the rigorous task of confronting your shadow projections. These projections are the unconscious traits, fears, and desires you deny in yourself but see reflected in others. When left unexamined, they cloud your judgment and distort attraction. You unconsciously seek women who mirror your unresolved inner conflicts, which leads to repeating the same toxic relationship patterns. Cultivating emotional independence is the next critical step. Desperation and neediness are the surest signs that a man's anima remains undeveloped. When attraction springs from lack rather than wholeness, it becomes a trap rather than a connection. Emotional independence means standing firm in your identity without needing validation from a partner. This shifts attraction from unconscious compulsion to conscious choice. A man who has mastered his anima is no longer vulnerable to manipulation through love. He recognizes the difference between genuine connection and emotional entanglement. This mastery transforms love from a chaotic battlefield into a strategic alliance that supports growth. Jung's path to clarity requires patience, honesty, and courage. It is the foundation that empowers a man to move beyond surface desires and into relationships aligned with his true self. Only then can he choose a woman who will help him grow, not one who will bind him to his unconscious patterns. History is littered with powerful men whose fate, rise or ruin, was determined by the women they chose. Carl Jung's insights help us see these choices not as random or purely romantic, but as reflections of unconscious drives playing out in the real world. Take Napoleon Bonaparte. His relationship with Josephine was famously tumultuous, a passionate, unstable connection that mirrored his inner turmoil and need for control. Josephine was both muse and shadow figure, inspiring him while also dragging him into emotional chaos. His failure to master his anima and shadow reflected in his turbulent love life and ultimately his downfall. Contrast that with Winston Churchill, whose stable and supportive partnership with Clementine helped ground his fierce ambitions. Churchill's conscious choice aligned with a more integrated anima, enabling a foundation for leadership rather than destruction. Even in popular culture, we see echoes of this principle. Many stories of tragic love follow the pattern of unconscious attraction to the wrong woman, one who embodies the shadow or unresolved wounds. The savior complex, the toxic obsession. These are not coincidences, but the psyche's unconscious script in motion. The great lesson is this: your relationship choices broadcast your unconscious state to the world. They are not isolated incidents, but chapters in the story of your inner self. Men who become aware of this can break the cycle, choosing with intention rather than blind compulsion. If this is making you rethink attraction entirely, subscribe now. Because the next strategy will make you immune to emotional traps for life. Learn to detach. Detachment is the final, most crucial test a man faces when choosing a woman. Carl Jung understood that love, at its purest, is free from possession and control. Anything less, attachment born of fear, need, or insecurity, is bondage, a trap that chains you to unresolved wounds and unconscious patterns. Why is detachment so powerful? Because it means you can walk away at any moment without losing yourself. This ability separates men who choose wisely from those who fall victim to their own shadows. When you're detached, your choices are made from clarity and strength, not desperation or emotional chaos. Walking away isn't a failure, it's a strategy. It signals that your value is not tied to any one person, but grounded in your sense of purpose and identity. This clarity makes you untouchable because you don't cling to relationships out of fear. You engage only when alignment is true and mutual. Jung taught that the anima, the inner feminine within a man, must be integrated for love to be healthy. But integration also requires detachment from illusions. Only when you detach from the fantasy of what love should be can you see clearly who truly supports your path versus who feeds your wounds. This detachment creates space for genuine connection, free from emotional manipulation or projection. It also forces potential partners to meet you on your terms, respecting your boundaries and your mission. In this space, love becomes a partnership of growth, not a battlefield of need. Men who master detachment become masters of their own destiny. They don't just choose a woman, they choose a life aligned with their highest self. And when that choice is made, love is no longer a liability, but a source of unstoppable power. Choosing a woman is not a romantic fairy tale. It is a strategic decision that shapes your entire life. Carl Jung made this clear. The woman you choose becomes the living mirror of your unconscious mind. She reflects back the parts of yourself you embrace or deny, the patterns you repeat or break, the future you build or sabotage. This is why the stakes are so high. A careless choice drags you into chaos, distraction, and decay. A conscious choice aligns you with growth, purpose, and clarity. It is the difference between losing your soul and finding it. The wise man doesn't rush this decision. He sees beyond surface charm or fleeting passion. He understands that beneath attraction lies the dance of shadow and light, the deepest parts of his psyche at play. When he chooses with awareness, he doesn't just pick a partner. He chooses his own evolution. Now here's the critical truth. Clarity comes through detachment. When you can walk away without fear, when your identity is intact regardless of who stays or leaves, you hold true power. The right woman respects that power. She doesn't seek to control it or fix it. She stands as a partner, not a project. If you're ready to choose with clarity and power, subscribe now, because the next lesson will make sure you never mistake chaos for love again. This journey is not about perfection, but mastery. Master your inner world, master your choices, and watch your life transform. Remember this. The wrong woman will cost you your soul. The right one will help you find it. Make sure you are the man who knows the difference.